Going on YouTube for sure to boo boo. This old man is going to town, and I'm live on YouTube. We're good to go, so I gotta fix this up. Alright, let's post this everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Post it live. Last day before. Hello, Claire. Last day before spring break. Pretty much last day I can really do this with not in the office hours. They want me to do it. They want to do if you do a Zoom, any kind of meeting with multiple kids at once, which I guess this is. You're supposed to do it during your office hours from now on. So we'll figure that out because lots of you aren't awake during my office hours. Today, I'm glad your interview went well. That's awesome. That's fantastic. That's wonderful. Do it live, exactly. Today is not Saturday yet, unfortunately. Your spring break theoretically doesn't quiet, Michael. They don't call it spring break technically until the 13th, but whatever. Spring break really, everyone knows spring break starts. Literally, probably for most kids already. They might not be thinking about work on the Friday before spring break when they've been home for the whole time. So, yeah. Just capitalizing the wrong words. Just posting all this stuff. I probably have a comment or two going on. I'll be there in a second. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Posted. All right. So. Oh my god. Hello, Rainy. I'm going to ignore the other comment there. Papers aren't been commented on yet because I just haven't checked them out today. Drinking my kombucha again. Yeah, it's not Saturday today, unfortunately. It's only whatever the hell day it is, Friday. Okay, so that's what I was waiting for, is someone to bring up the fourth quarter whole thing. This kombucha's harder to open than it looks. So there are. Sorry, 1 second, real quick. Let me make sure. Yeah. So I'll try to explain the emergency plan the best I can because I'm supposed to shake this. I read it yesterday. We had a meeting this morning. I think I understand it, but I want to make I'm pretty sure. So the thing about the emergency plan is, if I can open this too, is that school isn't over, and because for school to over, you guys know there's standards for what you're supposed to know by the time you exit a grade level. And when we ended on March 13th, we didn't cover all those standards yet. So we're not necessarily looking at that you are, because here's the thing I've been stressing, I think, the entire time when you've been in school. Grades don't matter as much as learning. If you start learning and learning and learning, the grades will come naturally anyways if you focus on learning and not grades, for one thing. But besides that, there's basically things you're supposed to know for each grade level. So we're trying to make sure you've got mastery of those things that are for each grade level. For as far as I know, a few things with that. There will be per class one assignment per week. You will have a choice board for that, which means you should have choices for the different assignments. This assignment will take place, as I told you, the schedule, I hope I'm not messing it up, is 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 1B, 4, 1B, 2B, 3B, 4B on Friday, Tuesday through Friday. And during that time period, teachers will post either, probably most likely, almost 99.9% of teachers will do an asynchronous lesson, which means they will post something for you to watch or to read or do and then do an assignment. Lots of this has been determined by VB schools already. Some of the assignments are basically already out there, ready to go. They're making sure you can achieve the mastery. And as far as I understand, they haven't told us full details yet either. We're going to list in Synergy still, without putting it as a grade, that you've checked off the mastery for that standard. And from what the reading is, and from what they've told us, that will ensure that you will pass to the next level. So that means next grade level and graduate and all of that. So you're still supposed to do it because it ensures that you get to the next level of education. So if you're in Spanish, let's say you're Spanish 2, and you don't do the stuff, you might not be able to go to Spanish 3 and get an advanced diploma so easily. So do the stuff. The good part about it is they know to be flexible, have flex, grace, and understanding with all this stuff for you guys and for the teachers who have like children jumping on their heads during this whole thing. That it's going to be different. It's going to be a little weird. People are trying their best to make it as available and as choiceful for you guys as possible. That and the good news is, from what I understand, as far as I understand, I'm allowed to tell you guys this. If you got, like, all the lessons will be posted not week by week. Some, like, we'll get a couple in, and then by the end of really May, that really way before the end of May, by the end of April, beginning of May, all 5. There should be about 5 lessons because there's one per week and you have 5 weeks left. 5 lessons will be up, and once you finish those 5 lessons, and the teacher says you're good to go, you don't have to do it anymore. Like, you're done with that class. You can check off the box. Say, I'm done with Avid for the year for that stuff. I don't have to do this class anymore. We're good. I don't have to focus on this. I don't have to do this. And just move through your classes that way. Like, some of you guys, if you crush it, could really be done with most of your classes by the middle of May. I will also say with that is not necessarily true. The emergency plan is not necessarily true for AP classes. They are still teaching for the AP test. They can get more than one assignment a week. They still have to follow the office hours, the time period, and all of that. But they're not necessarily going to do the same standardized things. They're teaching for the AP test to get you ready for that. What they're doing after the AP test, I have no idea yet. So we'll figure that out. Claire, to answer that question, so if we don't do the stuff, we don't graduate. That's kind of how I'm reading it. I'm not sure how they'll enforce that, but that's how I'm reading it and how I am. Like, it says basically and then like I can pull up the emergency plan right now, as well, and that's pretty much how I'm reading it. Let me find it. I don't know exactly. There we go. There's the person who sent it to me. We got sent through a different thing. Let me read this whole thing up. I think it's the grading part. But yeah, that's kind of like how I think lots of stuff is going to be tailored for you to make sure that you do graduate, and it's like easy stuff. This is going to be like not super hard assignments, probably, if I had to be honest. I'm looking for classes. There we go. No, that's not where you go. Oh, it's going to take me a while to find this. I'm not even going to lie. I'm talking to you guys. But so, yeah, this right here. Additionally, seniors will need to demonstrate competency of course content aligned to essential standards throughout the emergency lesson plan, learning plan by completing assignments. Doing so will allow VBCPS to grant our seniors the credits needed to graduate. So, that's pretty much to me saying that you got to do the stuff to make sure that they can verify that you've got mastery and you're good to go. I like that. That's good kombucha. I think that's better than the other one. Um, so here's our issue, Rainy, with not taking the test. For the course, depending on what the course is, you still have to because it might be a course you need to graduate, and if it's what the assignments are for that, the answer is probably I would check in with Miss Thompson. To be honest, she might be able to answer that question better. Or yeah, Miss Thompson's in charge of AP testing, anyways. I think. Uh, no, Mr. Burr is, I think, potentially. But so check in with them. Uh, but I think you're still gonna have to, because you have to pass the class, because I think you're in, to still have it for most of the classes. Uh, it's not a pass fail thing. Well, I guess it kind of is a pass fail thing, to be honest. It's not necessarily like you pass or fail, but to ensure that you go to the next grade level, they need you to meet these they want to make sure you meet in the standards for the grade level, so they want you to complete it. Uh, and so it's kind of a pass fail thing, but I don't think you fail. Your grades, if you didn't read that part, are calculated this way. So your full year grade is calculated by the first, second, and third 9 weeks as 33.333 repeating percent. So that's how your grade is calculated. And with that in mind, you're still we're allowed to use stuff to help you fix your grade. So if let's say this assignment counts as one of the standards. I don't know, standard. Like if I was for focus note taking is a standard in Abbott. If you really messed up on a focus note taking thing in the first 9 weeks, I could technically use one of these to help go back in even that first 9 weeks, because there's lots of, no, not a lot, I don't say lots. There's a couple of kids who use the third and fourth 9 weeks after they mess up the first semester to fix their grade. So we'll still allow you to complete work to fix your grades up throughout the year, throughout this time period too. 33.3 repeating is 1/3, Claire. So it's 1/3 is the first 9 weeks, 1/3 is the second 9 weeks, 1/3 is the third 9 weeks. Few things with that. If you have a semester class, there was the two things. One, your semester class, if it's first semester, it's done. That's the grade. You're done with that. The words, where to go? There we go. Second semester courses. They can use the marking period 3 grade for your final grade, and with the opportunity to improve, like I just said. Or you can drop the course and retake it without further penalty, which is not what I think seniors can do. But if you were in, let's say, Algebra 1 Algebra 1 Part 2, and you were struggling real hard, and you don't think you'll be able to make it up, then maybe you can, and take it again next year. But that will put you in the need to do 4x4s and stuff later on, which is not fun, to be honest. So further, really, I'm not sure if it's really calculated. I don't think it is calculated that way yet, just FYI. But if you go into Synergy and look at RP4FNL, I think it is, report period 4, FNL means final. You should theoretically be able to see what your final grade would be right now. And that's what's going to go out on report cards. Report cards are going out to parents, I want to say on the 29th is what they said. They're going to email out report cards. Yeah, I think on the 29th. And I'll basically tell you what your grade for the year would be too, because if they were done, if the school just ended, that would be a year for the grade. So they're telling you what your year grade for the year is. So that means that if you think, oh crap, I have a D for the year, you can start talking to the teacher, working with them, try to pull that work up during that 4th 9 weeks and turn things in, because that's what's going to have to get it done. I think that answers quite a bit of it. Yeah, this kombucha stuff, this is pomegranate. Shamira, since you said you love it, am I supposed to shake kombucha? I don't know. I didn't shake it. I don't know if I'm supposed to. I know it's fermented, which means it was carbonated on the inside, but I don't know if I'm supposed to shake it to like make stuff settle. Uh, so I think that answers lots of things. I think the best part of me as a student would be that once you get the stuff done, you're done. So if you're proactive about it, you could be really done with school by May 15th. Show your mastery, because I mean, lots of you guys who are in here, not only lots, all of you guys who are in here are very intelligent. Uh, so you could knock those assignments out of the park from what I think the assignments are going to be. Uh, so motivation is one of the hardest things you could possibly find, especially at this time of the year for a senior, especially this time of the year for a senior when you're not in school. It does not say to shake well. Thank you for telling me to do what I want. That's do not shake is literally on here. I lied. So like this time of the year, like motivation for seniors is in the pits anyways, let alone being at home. Things to build motivation, I would say, are one, it's all about as I've said before, I'm a huge fan of motivation as much as I am discipline. To make yourself do things is discipline. When you don't have the motivation, you still do it. Like when you don't want to go to the gym and you still do, building that discipline is huge. One step for that is, you might already do this, is doing the small things, like building up. One of my freshmen, like Mikkel was talking about it over and over and over again before we left. He's like, I set my bed every day now. I set my bed every day now. That kind of small thing builds up. Doing stuff that takes like 10 minutes. Like I used to say 5 minutes. If it takes 5 minutes or less, just do it right now. But I saw there's a guy on YouTube called Wheezy Waiter, whose videos I kind of like. He does Crash Course Government actually too. I think that's him. But he basically changes, like, it's a 10-minute rule. If it takes 10 minutes, just do it right now. And I kind of like that better, because 5 minutes is like, you get a few things, 10 minutes a lot of things. So the discipline with that and just building that up is huge. For motivation, again, it's a big about just trying to, making your bed so you get out of it, exactly. Big thing about motivation is just thinking about the future. Why are you doing these things? Why? And it's harder for things, I think also now too, it's harder to see the why that you're doing these, because you don't necessarily have a teacher saying this is why we're doing this too. If you ask them, you're kind of just seeing assignments more so, and not necessarily seeing tons of, you're seeing tons of assignments, but you're not seeing necessarily, hey, so like here's the point of why we're doing this. Like, we're doing this assignment here so you can learn this thing. Might not be as easy to see. So it also distracts from motivation. But your why right now is because we're working through this time to get through it, learn as much as we can, and think about our futures, especially you seniors who are about to basically change paths a little bit. You're going to be out of high school. You guys start thinking about what benefits me. And lots of stuff will benefit you. Because here's the thing I always say when kids tell me that school, we don't need to learn these things. Literally, like already today, I've gotten mad at lots of people and things because I'm seeing lots of posts about, because if you guys didn't see the death rate for coronavirus, it went like, they're basically saying it's going down to 60,000. Hey, 60,000 people is still a lot of people. It's a quote by Joseph Stalin that Marilyn Manson quoted too, where they go, the death of one is a tragedy, death of millions is just a statistic. People are looking at 60,000 as just a statistic. That's 60,000 friends, family members, grandmas, grandpas, moms, brothers, sisters, cousins, uncles, stuff like that. It's still a problem. And they're going, well, it dropped, so there was no reason for us to close everything. No. The reason it dropped is because we closed everything. That's the reason why the social distancing is working. That's why it dropped. Not because it was going to drop anyways. That's why. That's science. That's basic. understanding of reading things and understanding whether or not it's biased, whether or not it's true or false, whether or not they're using factual reporting or they're using buzzwords, whether or not they're using actual exponential science and growth, or if they're just BSing because it makes them look better. That's school for me. Like I said, when you guys look at the Y board, I put better citizens on the middle because people are better citizens if they actually look into facts and figures and know things and actually have comprehension skills. Yeah. So that's why I do stuff. I mean, yes. Okay, so I think there's two things here. A for JoJo, who changed to from Lumpia Cracker to Joseph Christian. Yeah, as far as I understand it, for the most part, it's 5 assignments per classes. AP classes can do more. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. To answer Claire's question, do you think we'll get a summer? I mean, the season, absolutely. You'll be out of school, absolutely. Will you be able to go outside? I think so, at this point. A little bit. You shouldn't be like when, like, our stay-at-home order is over on June 10th. You shouldn't rush out on June 10th and go crazy. And I know people will. People will go to bars and all this kinds of crazy stuff, especially not you guys, obviously, but like old people. And like go to restaurants and bars and try to have concerts and all stuff. It's got to be a gradual return or it'll come back. Until there's a vaccine, unless there's a gradual return. And still practicing stuff like all this time, like basic social distancing, unless there's a real reason. It'll come back. That's how these work. There's two things that'll kill it. One, a vaccine. That's how smallpox ended. Two, it just gets weaker through mutation. If you guys don't know how viruses, another thing through school you learn, is how viruses work. Viruses are RNA replicating, not DNA, so they replicate very fast and they mutate very fast too. And ultimately, a virus doesn't want to kill you because you're its host. If it kills its host, then it dies too, pretty much. So for a virus wants to be honestly more mild because then it can replicate. So like that's how the Spanish flu kind of died out eventually because it mutated to the point where it was no longer as deadly. And luckily for us, this is nowhere near the Spanish flu because at this point of the Spanish flu, there was millions of deaths worldwide. And we're a lot, but we're not at, like, I think it was 4 million at this point of the Spanish flu. And one of the bigger reasons for that was, A, Spanish flu was super deadly. B, it also happened during World War II where you can't really social distance in a trench. I mean, World War I where you can't social distance in a trench. So that's there as well. This one's a lot better than the prickly pear one, I think. I don't know. They're both pretty good. So let's see if I got anything while I was yelling at the world. If you have any more questions, comments, concerns. But yeah, we'll have somewhat of a summer. Got another email going on. Let's see if there's anything cool. Nah, I don't need this. It's about license renewal for teaching. Guess what? Just got my license renewed. We're good to go. Oh boy. Oh yeah, I was laughing at something my brother sent me. He sent me basically. He works at the shipyard. He's like I've said before. He works at the not Norfolk Naval. He yell at me for that. The Newport News shipyard. He's at the apprentice school, and he sent me basically his. He wants to get a Joe Exotic face mask because now they're requiring them to use face masks at the apprentice school. So he wants to use a Joe Exotic face mask, which makes sense because it's funny. It's topical. The problem is if you guys try to get like they are actually selling like I've been just using bandanas as you might have saw on Twitter. You took the bandanas, you fold them, and then you put hair ties and you can put it on your ears like a face mask if you go outside because that is recommended by the CDC right now if you're going to a public space. Even though I was at Wegmans this morning and obviously at Wegmans this morning I would say the majority of people had face masks on, so that was good. But there were quite a few who didn't still, even though it was recommended by the CDC if you're in a public space. Because it's not necessarily so much for, in case you are a asymptomatic person who has it, if you cough or sneeze or like even without having real symptoms, but just having it, then your stuff spreads it all over. So that mask is more so to protect other people from you and then to protect you since bandana won't really do much to stop it breathe like too much, to be honest. The only thing like an N95 one, but you shouldn't really, unless you're sick, you really shouldn't be using those. Back to my original point. But they're selling customized ones like Tiger King. I've seen Tiger King all over. I've seen different band ones. I almost jokingly bought a Mariah Carey one because I thought it was funny. But everything's like on back order anyways until like June. Because everyone's like, bam, 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 I'm buying them. So I just use bandanas because I don't have sewing supplies here. I don't really feel like trying to sew one. So bandanas, bam, put over the head. Easy to go. Zero milliliters or oh my lord. So yeah, tons of stuff going on. I hope you guys are thinking about spring break. I really want you guys, to be honest, to do nothing during spring break. And like big ups to Miss George. She's basically saying like don't do anything during spring break to like teachers and everyone else. Like legit just saying don't do anything. And I think that is the way to go. Like we are in a pandemic, even though it looks like honestly the numbers are looking very good right now in my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm not a scientist. Like we're talking about science earlier. But it looks like the curve is flattening, which is wonderful. There's great things coming out of Italy and Spain at this point from like the curve flattening. So that's a good thing. But we're still in a pandemic. Lots of people have lost jobs. Things aren't going to be great instantly once the stay-at-home order is over. So it's a good time to practice self-care, and that's actually in the emergency learning plan for VBCPS2. It literally says practice self-care for responsibilities for teachers, administrators, and students. It's to practice self-care. So kids should find time to do things that are beneficial for them, like meditating, yoga, running, playing video games if that helps you get zone out, play Sims all day, play Call of Duty, I don't know. Do whatever helps you the best to calm down, relieve anxiety, all that kinds of stuff. That's important during this time period too. Because, it's not an easy time period for anyone right now. So it's important to make sure you're practicing self-care. So during spring break, don't do schoolwork. If you're doing a passion project and you like it for my thing and you like it, like you want to practice guitar because that gives you less anxiety, do that. Don't just because I'm joking because it's my project theoretically, but if you're drawing and that's giving you that's kind of one of the reasons why I did this project, because if you did it like that, you could relieve anxiety. You could draw all day. You can do painting. You can do anything like guitar, ukulele, skateboarding, whatever relieves anxiety. That's what I joke. One of the reasons why I miss wrestling so much is because that's that relieves a lot of anxiety for me. Being able to wrestle, beat stuff up, does, to be honest. That's why I joked with Mr. Vino for Teacher Appreciation Week and stuff like that. And Miss Davis, I believe, set it up together. They put up basically a relaxation room for teachers that had like beach sounds and like hot towels and lemon water and stuff like that to relax. And that is the least relaxing thing to me ever. That is not relaxing. Sitting down, thinking about things constantly, no, that is not relaxing. I need something to take my mind off things because I'll just keep spinning and spinning and spinning. So that's why I like wrestling. Because you're wrestling, you're doing something constantly. It's fun. I just looked at myself and winked. Yeah. Kombucha makes you burp, though. It seems like. It's fun stuff. But yeah. Do your fun stuff all during spring break, stuff to relax you. Because that's what it's. See, the JoJo, that's the joke. That's like, my best matches I ever wrestled, because we're talking about wrestling now because JoJo's brought it up again. You zone out too much when I'm wrestling. To be completely honest, I feel like the best matches I ever wrestled I don't remember, which sounds weird to say. Because it's just 100% muscle memory, not overthinking it, not doing it. And those came to, like, those were like, I beat a kid my senior, like, he was his freshman year. Kid was a 4-time state champion, but I beat him that year. No, he's a 3-time, so he didn't win that year. But he's a 3-time state champion. I beat him that year, my senior year, when I was not even a 1-time state champion or even close to it, to be honest. I don't remember that match at all. My junior year, the match, first match, the kid had texted me, which means beat me by 15 points at a tournament previous in the year. I don't remember the match, but I remember. But I got my hand raised at the end when I beat him at states. But it was. That's what I like, and I think it comes with muscle memory, JoJo. Just keep on like the drills, and drilling, because your body starts knowing where it's supposed to go, and you might not be there yet. Like, but my question for you might be: does it feel like that in jiu-jitsu sometimes because you've practiced that way more, as far as I know? Where if you clear your mind, it uh, feels more natural. But also, JoJo, I can tell you right now, we probably, as far like, you're much more laid back than I am as a person. If you haven't noticed, I joke that I haven't relaxed once in my entire life. So we might just might what might work for me might not work for you. Yeah, I do know that theoretically kombucha is supposed to be somewhat alcoholic. I don't know if it is. Anything fermented is somewhat alcoholic. There's trace amounts of it. It's not like I'm trying to chug booze on a YouTube live for students. Uh, I doubt this is even. It doesn't even list a percentage on it. It's like no more than, like it says, due to the natural fermentation, there may be trace amounts of alcohol in small pieces of culture. The trace amounts of alcohol probably like it's probably less than like 1%. So I wouldn't worry about too much about it. I'm not too worried about it. It's good to go. It smells like vinegar, anyways, and I don't think of vinegar as alcohol. Like, is vinegar alcoholic? No, it's not. Exactly, 0.02%. We're good. It's real low. It's real low. It's like point 0.1, 0.01, something like that. I mean, I'm not a computer. I can literally just Google this. We're in the 21st century. 0.05%. So very low. For comparison, a beer is normally around 5%. And like your average spirit is around 40%. So, not a big deal. Yeah, like I like for like going back to wrestling stuff, I used to get really hyped up before a match, to be honest. Like I Joe, one of the coaches told me that like he's like, "Why are you trying to scare kids and stuff?" Because I like hit my head and stuff, and like be like going like that, all pumped up style. I don't know. And I think to a point that works, but if you want to get to the next, like a higher level, you need to be more calm and conscientious, and just go with the flow in wrestling. Like being really really hyped up gets you to a certain point, and that's like when I wrestle now, I'm not like mad at all. I would try to like hype myself up and get mad and stuff like that in high school. Now there's very rarely that I'm mad when I wrestle, because I don't have a reason to be, unless I'm wrestling like Aiden Besser. No. Ugh. But yeah, you gotta find. I ultimately think that being more relaxed when you go out into the mat is the way to go. Having the right mindset. You can also do stuff like adrenaline dumps and stuff like that, where people just get overhyped. Like I said, the story of Derek Nottie, who was the Chiefs player who wrestled for like Ocean Lakes for like a week, and we had him do a match. He got super hyped and pumped right before the match, and completely gassed out because he had an adrenaline dump. He got so pumped up, lost everything after that. Excuse me. So you got to try to. I think the way to go is to like calm yourself. Ultimately, Zen like that. As far as I understand, it's much more of a feeling. I think like that's much more of a concept in jiu-jitsu too. Like lots of jiu-jitsu guys, from what I read on the internet, because I've never actually I've done a couple, like I've done like some jiu-jitsu stuff, but not a lot. Because I really only want to do no gi, to be honest. I don't really want to buy a gi because I feel like they're so expensive, and I'd want to have to buy like a bunch of them if I wanted to practice consistently, because like the washing constantly thing. Uh, but lots of jiu-jitsu guys think that wrestlers are jerks because they go out there hardcore trying to like blah 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 blah. I'm like, bro, we're just trying to like roll around, learn, go easy, calm down. And I really do like that mindset in jiu-jitsu. of the uh, just calming yourself, working on technique, stuff like that. I think that's probably the way to go. Even in wrestling, if you look at you look at the NCAA's, there's some people like doing hype stuff, but like people like Ben Askren, who's one of the best of all times, very much he's like go with the flow, relaxed guy. So I think that's really what is the ultimate goal. What makes me laugh? Lots of things, really. Uh, Usually like it's like dumb stuff. My brother can make me laugh pretty well, to be honest, because he knows lots of dumb stuff. He's known me for so long. I like. I mean, I watch a lot of stand-up comedy, and you'll see like I don't laugh that often, even when I'm watching it, unless it's like I'll rewatch it too. Like Mike Birbiglia is a big guy. He's one of my favorites that I watch. He's on like Netflix. Has a couple specials. Uh, and it's stuff like that. I mean, there's usually there's two keys to comedy. We joke. Silence is one. So if you have timing and silence, that's really good. So the timing, if you can do it well, is good. And the master of that was a guy named Andy Kaufman. Andy Kaufman was phenomenal, hilarious, did some crazy stuff, but he was a once in a generation comedian. Uh, and the other thing is just the unexpected. I really love unexpected things. Like the first time, like how like JoJo when I said I shaved my beard. When I shaved my beard, he said I was like human Shrek. That was funny too, but it was funnier to be honest, funny the first time I heard it because it was like, damn, that's good. That's a good one. Uh, yes, Matthias, you should wrestle. Wrestling is good for you. It is good for football. Ray Lewis, two-time state champ. Stephen Neal, who played for the Patriots, was a world champion in wrestling and not WWE style. Wrestling directly benefits football. Not only that, we've talked about you wanting like to work out, lose weight, do all this stuff. Wrestling helps that. We have a kid named Seth on our team who literally came in his freshman year weighing 190 ball of fat. His junior year now he weighs about 155. Probably weighs a lot more now. He might weigh like 170 right now because he's trying to get bigger, and he usually does stuff pretty well. He wrestled 152 this year or 160 this year, and he was super in shape, super good to go. Wrestling helps with that, man. Absolutely wrestle. It is a great thing to do. It is the best sport. Like no exceptions in my opinion. Wrestling is the best sport. Obviously I'm biased, but it's my opinion. With that wrestling it teaches you the most. It's the hardest. It is, well, I say hardest too with it. Yeah, I do remember that. I think it was no, who was it? No, Sean Saunders came in. I can't remember who else came in, but I don't think it was Matthias. But obviously, like mental toughness. There's tough stuff. Like in baseball, baseball's amazing to me because I have absolutely no hand-eye coordination. That's one of the reasons why I like watching baseball. Like catching a pop fly, I don't think I could do that. Like catching a baseball. You think I'm joking right now. JoJo is really the only one who's seen me catch and throw things. It's not good. It's really not good. So like them and like fielding baseballs, amazing to me. Like out of my concept. It was you and Sean, okay. For some reason I didn't think it was you. I guess it was. But yeah, but baseball is, I mean, that's hard, but like wrestling, mental toughness, pushing yourself is such a huge thing in my opinion. And it teaches so much more than most things. Like I joke because I was coaching a kid and it was at the middle school. Yeah, it's bad, JoJo. He was like, I was like, what do you want out of this sport? He's like, what do you want to do? Because he wasn't really working hard doing stuff. He's like, I want to do an easy sport like tennis, which was funny to me for one thing. I tried not to laugh, but like even then, it's because the mental toughness wasn't there yet, and I think it kept going on. He'd finally learn, oh man, to reach the highest levels at tennis is still hard too, man. You can't just like any sport has some mental toughness, and I think wrestling puts you to the fire a lot sooner than a lot of sports to do that. Yeah, I tried. Mr. Brown tried to teach me how to. I don't think I don't think any of you guys are Kempsville Middle School. Tennis isn't easy. No sports are easy, really. If you want to get to like a high level, it's none of them are easy. I don't think any of you guys went through that, but Mr. Brown tried to teach me how to throw a baseball properly because I just don't do that properly. It wasn't good. It was bad. It's not a pretty sight. I am not good at throwing things. My release point was all off. I kept on like slamming it right into the ground. Wasn't good. Done with the kombucha. Lots of liquids. Stay hydrated. It's good for you. That's the other thing that shocks me with athletes, especially high school athletes. And I'm not gonna lie, I was probably one of them too. I didn't really value. I didn't really like. With the kids, like I don't like drinking water. I was one of those kids for a long time. To be honest, I would drink after practice. I would drink. I would walk down to the like when we still had soda vending machines that were like. Well, I guess we have real soda vending machines now. I would get a diet Dr Pepper after like every high school practice. That well off season practice, in season too much weight. But staying hydrated, drinking things that are good for you, like water. This is like supposedly good for me as far as I understand. Kombucha is good for you. Do the probiotics, which help with digestion. So, it theoretically is good for you as far as I understand. Probiotics are good for digestion. So drink good like water. Just drink tons of like you should drink like between like minimum half a gallon of water a day. Most people like for like especially like me try to drink a gallon of water a day. If you're like above 125 pounds, you should drink a gallon of water a day. 100% Matthias. That's a big thing. All right. See you later. See ya after spring break. Shamira, chill out, hang out, have fun. Uh, yes, Matthias. Back to Matthias' thing. Uh, yes, that is one of the biggest things freshmen realize after their first year that they wasted lots of it. To be honest, that you didn't do everything you want to do because you were maybe a little scared, or maybe you're like, oh no, maybe I don't want to do it. I want to do this instead. I'm not sure, and they stop. That happens to lots of freshmen. So your goal now, especially now that you realize that and that you see that you have those feelings, is don't forget those feelings because we're going back to school next year and you're going to have those opportunities again. And you need to take part of them now. You need to crush football conditioning. Work your ass off at it. Do great things at it. Come to wrestling. Wrestle. Have fun with it. Keep going and stuff. Doing stuff. Taking advantage of things that are there for you. The school has so many opportunities for kids. And lots of the kids who, like, not saying that you are, because you honestly seem to like the, at least, normal school part. Lots of kids complain that school sucks and don't take advantage of the things that make school not suck. Like all these different activities and clubs and things. It's so great to do them, and you just gotta take advantage of them. And that makes like school so much more fun and interesting, and like just like that's always like there's nothing more that I can say about that than just take advantage of it. Do your stuff. Get through it. You will have fun. Wrestling is a sport that is not easy. It takes a lot of time to get used to stuff. Uh, like I think I wrestled for the first time in eighth grade. Don't think I did wrestle for the first time in eighth grade. I went one or two and whatever the rest are like six, 2 and 6 or 1 and 7 if that's the middle school schedule. I sucked. I wasn't good. I kept doing it. Mainly because when I started wrestling, I was slightly shorter than I am now, and I was 100. I think I was like 170 pounds of fat. I wasn't in shape at all. I just watched anime all day and didn't work out at all. Uh, then I started wrestling. By the end of wrestling season, my middle school year, I was down to like 145 and just kept building that stuff up and working out. My freshman year, I went 6-24 in the high school team. But I kept going and getting better and working and working and working. I missed 2 practices in all high school for wrestling. 2 of them. And by my junior year, I was placed in state. My senior year, I was ranked 3rd in state. Hurt myself like a dummy. And all this kind of stuff. Jojo, get as big as you want to, buddy. I mean, don't get fat, but gain weight, get big. Like, right now is not the time to worry about what weight class you're going, to be honest. That's more so July, August. Just work out, gain weight, gain muscle, see where you're at, and we'll figure it out. You might end up at 132. We'll see. With about 122, you're at also at 120, 126 right now. Who knows? We'll be there next year. You're thinking maybe like you got Drew and them, but who knows? Drew's dad's huge too. Drew might grow. We'll see what happens with it. Jaden might go up. Who knows? I have no idea what Jaden weighs. Just focus on your growth. If you gain weight, you gain muscle. Perfect. Who knows? You might just have a huge growth spurt and be our 152 pounder next year, JoJo, or heavyweight. I doubt it, but maybe. Don't think about that weight until what weight class you are until like mid-July, early August. But then actually think about it, which I know you will. Whereas I told kids like, because Jaden like wanted to go 106 this year. And we're like, all right, you start working out now, and he didn't. So he ended up certifying at 107, which was good for the team because Christian rules. He was good at 106, and having Jaden and Christian there, both on the lineup, is wonderful. Yeah. So I hope that makes sense. Do you guys got any 12:56? I'll be off in a few minutes. Do you guys have any more questions, comments, concerns, queries? I think it's just JoJo Matthias left here now. If you got anything, just let me know. If not, I'm going to sign off in a couple minutes. I'll see you guys after spring break. I'm probably, I think I'm not probably, I'm pretty sure I'm not allowed to do this every day anymore. They want us to focus on doing these during our office hours, which is even earlier, so I don't know how productive that will be, but we'll see. Hopefully, the idea behind this is to give kids structure, but there's still more asynchronous stuff going on. So, don't necessarily have to do it during the time period, like 1A, 2A is like on Tuesday, 3A, 4A is on Wednesday, 1B, 2B is on Thursday, 3A, 3B, 4B is on Friday, and there's certain time periods that start at like 8:30. I think it's 8:30 to 10:30, and then 12:30 to 2 or something like that. I don't know. It's something like that. Uh, and you can do the work during that time period, and they give you that schedule for that reason, but you don't necessarily have to. So we'll see. My office hours are technically Wednesday. I will read it right now. And then I saw Matthias' question. I'll answer in a second. I'm just going to pull up my office hours. My office hours are Wednesdays from 10:30 to 11:30. All right. So, real quickly with upper body. Wrestling and most sports, to be completely honest, benching doesn't matter for sports for the most part. Benching is not that great of a thing. Squat and deadlifting and like doing stuff like Olympic lifts and working on your core and your hips are more important for 99% of sports. Football, wrestling included. But there is stuff that'll help with your arm strength and stuff like that in wrestling. Biggest thing I'll tell you to do right now, because this is really what I'm doing currently, is work on it right now. I've always been much more of a leg guy than an arm guy as well. But right now I haven't done, I'm like trying to figure out what to do for a workout. One thing I'm doing currently is I'm doing the 100 push-up challenge thing, which is, it's literally like if you type in like 100 push-up, it's like a program to get to where you're doing 100 push-ups in 7 weeks. And you give like 3 a week, you do like sets of different push-ups. Like today I have to do like a set of like 30, then 25, then like 20, and 30 today. I think that push-up is similar, similar muscle groups to a bench press. So that will help right now to do that. Unless you're doing bad push-ups. And then they'll work crap. Do good push-ups while you're doing this too. If you guys start on like very, very basic week 1 where you're only doing like sets of like 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, or whatever it is, do that. No one's watching you. You're at home. It's okay. Do what you gotta do. But yeah, wrestling can help, like picking kids up, stuff like that. You will pick kids up. It's part of wrestling. All right, any other comments, questions, concerns, queries, anything like that before I sign off? If you don't got anything, I'll probably be zooming out in a second due to the whole it's almost spring break thing. Like I said before, if you guys weren't in here, do what you got to do during spring break, and that means nothing. That means nothing. If that means play your video games, play your video games. If that means meditate, that means meditate. Do whatever you got to do. I'm just checking to make sure that there's where I'm seeing my delays at right now. All right. It looks like you guys don't have any questions. I will see you guys later. I hope you have a great spring break. Chill out, relax, act all cool, do good things. I will see you later.